So, welcome back. I was not serial murdered by the person at my door. It was the mailman. Well, not the mailman, but a UPS guy dropping off a couple of packages. That's what that was. That timing, though. Monica seems to be attempting to calm Sarah down without much luck.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have thought for a second that any of you would appreciate my writing.
What? Yuri, that's not what I'm saying at all!
Oh, is it not, Natsuki? Feel free to tell me what you really think. You've never been afraid to hurt my feelings before. Why would this time be any different?
I'm not trying to hurt your feelings! You need to get out of your own head for once and listen to what others have to say, you stupid edgy bitch!
Why should I? It's not like anything that comes from a noxious little brat like you matters anyway.
Oh, and here I thought you were supposed to be the mature one, Yuri. Fine, you want to know what I think? I think that story you wrote is true! I think you really did kill someone! You want to know why I think that? Because you are a freaking psychopath!
At least I'm not the one being physically abused and starved to death. That's right, Natsuki. I know all about your little problems. I know all about your father beating you. I know that he never feeds you at home.
How did you...
I happened to be walking by your house one night and heard screaming from one of the rooms. I looked inside and saw your papa beating you mercilessly while you cried out in pain. I could have called the police. I could have broken into your house myself. Instead, I just ignored your problems and continued on my way home. Do you want to know why? Because I know I could hold this against you later. Not to mention that I didn't feel like getting my hands dirty. I've also noticed that you never have anything to eat in the school cafeteria during lunch. He doesn't give you any money either, does he? You have to dig for coins under the vending machines just to buy something to eat. I'd say that's pretty pathetic. But what do I know? I'm just a fucking psychopath.
Siri, this is exactly what I'm talking about! Is this why nobody likes you? Stop! All of us are taken aback by Siri's sudden shout.
Why are you two acting like this? Aren't you supposed to be friends? To all the good times we've had in the literature club mean nothing to you? Sayori, it's not... No, don't say it to me. Say it to each other.
It looks like both Natsuki and Yuri are both at a loss for words. I'd interject, but I don't have a say in it. I wouldn't know what to say anyway.
Yuri...
Natsuki starts to say something.
I didn't mean what I said. No. I understand how you could have come to a conclusion like that. I withheld such important information about you and your life. If I just had the courage to tell someone, you wouldn't have had to suffer for so long. What kind of sane person would do such a terrible thing? Yuri, it's not your fault. I've been suffering from his abuse long before you knew about it. I don't blame you for not being able to speak up. I wasn't able to either. And I think it's better you don't tell anyone. That means a lot to me, Natsuki. So thank you.
But your story was still way too intense. It's not that I hated it, but you probably should have went with something lighter.
I understand.
Yay, everyone's friends again! Hey, sure. Yuri and Natsuki smile as they turn to Monica. It's amazing how Sarah was able to resolve that fight between Natsuki and Yuri.
Yeah. As president, it's kind of embarrassing that I couldn't even bring myself to interject.
No, it's not like I can blame you. I wasn't able to say anything either.
Sarah really is special, isn't she?
Yeah, I guess you could put it that way. She might be a bit of an airhead. She's the first person I would turn to if I needed a helping hand.
Agreed. Anyway, I think with that we'll end today's meeting. See you all tomorrow.
Not wanting any more confrontation, we all hastily pack our things and head out the door. Siri nervously approaches me.
Hey, Hallie? Can I walk home with you today? I think Yuri's story was too much for me. And I need something to get those scary thoughts out of my head.
Sure, Sayori. You know you're always welcome to walk home with me.
Thanks, Hallie. You're really too nice to me sometimes.
Would you rather I be mean to you?
No, not that.
I'm just joking, Sayori.
Well, it wasn't funny.
Alright, alright. I'll stop messing with you.
Good. But now you have to get me something to eat.
Hey, I never agreed to that.
Well, you shouldn't have been so mean to me.
Fine, I'll buy you a cookie on the way home.
Yay!
Sometimes I have to wonder why I put up with such a carefree girl. With that, I walk home with Sayori once more. I bought her a chocolate chip cookie at the convenience store on the way. It's her favorite kind, so I figured that would help cheer her up after today's events. Even so, she's being a little quieter than usual on the way home. Hey, Sayori.
Sorry, I was spacing out.
Well, you were also eating, so... I then realized that she's barely taken a bite out of her cookie.
I was thinking about something from earlier. Those things Yuri said about Natsuki. Do you think they were true?
I recall Yuri's words about Natsuki's father. There's no way that could be true. Right? I wouldn't worry about it, Sayori. I doubt she really meant it. It was probably just something she said in the heat of the moment.
It sounded like Natsuki agreed with her. What if it is true, Hallie? What if Natsuki's getting hurt at home?
Well, I would probably call the police. We can't just call the police on somebody's father for child abuse without any proof. So unless we happen to see it for ourselves, there's really nothing we can do. Like Natsuki said, it's probably better that we don't report it to the authorities. At least for now.
I guess you're right. But Yuri said she saw it happen, didn't she?
Yeah, but who knows how long ago that was, assuming it happened at all. The conversation trails off. After everything that happened today, I'm almost afraid to find out what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Who knows what could happen next? Yeah, that was pretty intense. Another special beta message. This was another fun activity for me to write. I love scary stories. I'm sure most of the fandom likes them too, seeing as they played the original game. I picked out each story with their readers in mind, and in MC's case, the girl they appeal to. Monika's story could portray her love for the player and her fear of losing them. Sayori's story is simple, but not too simple. Natsuki's story is very simple and to the point, and Yuri's story, well, that's something else entirely. You'll learn a little more about that at the end of the beta. That part with Sayori being forced to choose a different story is in reference to something that happened during production. I wanted to have Sayori recite Jeff the Killer, so I asked the person who made the character if I could use the original story, and they said yes. But they never provided a version of the story I could use. I wanted to make another situation where Natsuki and Yuri would fight, and this time I really wanted to take it to the absolute extremes. I didn't add Yuri's story for this reason, but once I did, I felt like it would be the perfect trigger for this kind of fight scene, so I went ahead with it. I think it turned out very nicely, if I say so myself. Oh, don't look at me like that. I don't really want to hurt them, but all of us players have the same perspective. Like Monika said in the original game, I attempted to tone down on the vanilla of the post-fight talk with Monika, and I hope that shows. Now you may be asking me why MC has been completely ignoring these problems, claiming that he's completely forgotten about them. Well, you'll just have to wait until the full release to get the answer to that question. Hi, Yuri.
Hello, Hallie. Are you surprised to see me? Emmy thought that you might like it if I were the one to give you the ending message this time. Don't worry, I'm not actually self-aware. Emmy is just using my character to communicate with you. Yuri isn't actually conscious, so she's not going to remember any of this. I guess you could sort of compare it to something along the lines of puppetry. But it's not like I'm going to hurt her or anything. Anyway, thank you for volunteering to test out my mod. Our mod? What matters is that you're playing it right now. I see you've watched all of my exclusives. Thank you for all the attention you've given me. What Monika said in the original game is right. You really are a sweetheart. Not only that, you also haven't seen any of the other girls' exclusives yet.
I don't know where you're getting that. Might be just the copy of DDLC I have on this PC, perhaps? I don't know.
I'm not surprised that you choose mine first, but please don't forget to give the other girls some attention too. I hope this mod's contents weren't too disturbing for you to handle. If they were, I sincerely apologize. DDLC is one of those games where there's a very fine line between what's okay and what's going too far. So I don't know if anything I've written so far is too unsafe for players.
Well, to be honest, the worst thing out of all of that was definitely Dan's creepypasta, but like, that's kind of included in the original game anyway.
Well, the only ones playing this mod are those who've played the original game, so they should already know full well what they're jumping into.
You know what, you don't really gotta worry about the content so much, you just gotta put that stuff up front. You gotta let them know, hey, there's disturbing content in this mod, and if you play it, Well, that's on you if you get disturbed, because I told you. So there. Yeah.
I'm certain I included enough warnings just in case. The same applies to the whole seizure warning at the beginning.
Yeah, that was a bit much. I don't. Those were some pretty serious blinking lights.
I wanted to pick a scenario where Monica ends up screwing up the menu screen and the entire thing glitches out. I won't tell you any more than that, unless you ask me about it, since anything further delves into spoiler territory. I thought some fleshy plates would be a cool effect. However, this would also be dangerous to players with photosensitive epilepsy, so I threw some warning screens in beforehand. I think I emphasized the dangers, though. I'm not held responsible for anyone who chooses to watch it and suffers from a seizure. Those people only have themselves to blame for such reckless action.
Yeah, just like I said.
I really want to keep that part in there, so please let me know if you think I did give enough warning.
You gave enough warning, but those lights were seriously intense. If you can, like, nerf them without getting rid of them, some way, somehow, that might be good.
Now, I know I already mentioned this before in the readme, but I really need an idea for the next day's activity. I'm assuming you read it, anyway. It's a TXT file, tell Hallie, please read this before playing. If you didn't read it, you probably should now. Anyway, the remaining activities have already been confirmed for later days, so I can't start writing it if I can't figure out what Day 4's activity should be. When I say Day 4, I'm including the introductory day. Once that's been decided, it should be fairly smooth sailing. Now, onto the topic of assets. I won't give you the whole list here. If you want a list of all the credits for every asset included in this version, let me know by PM. This is still a work in progress, so not every asset included has been confirmed to be usable. I gathered most of my assets from an unofficial royalty-free folder someone provided to me. They made the folder because the two official one had not been updated for about a year or two. For most of these assets, the year is photographic or text proof of their creators giving permission to use them in mods. Regardless, I can always ask them about it. Some of Speaver's assets, such as their City of Stars and Wet Hand Sand covers, originate from our copyrighted material. As such, I am unaware of whether they are allowed to be used or not. Regardless of your answer, I plan on asking Yagama Raitan about it since they are a moderator of the sub. If these assets are not allowed to be used, I can always replace them. You probably noticed that the club room wasn't actually decorated for the Halloween party when MC said it was. That's because I get to commission those assets. The same applies to the girls' menu sprite, green sprites, and the warning screens. Regarding chibis, Cirque made the Siri, Yuri, and Monica ones, and Mona Marian made the Natsuki ones. I'm sure you found my new chibis adorable, didn't you, Hallie?
I did.
You may have noticed that they're not all lined up correctly, and that only the Natsuki one has the white outlines. This is probably because of Cirque's style. They seem to make their sprites from scratch instead of making simple edits. They also sent me bigger files than those in the original game. I attempted to downsize them to fit the original dimensions, but it doesn't seem like they came out too well.
If you use the transforms to resize them instead, it might be better. Because like you can turn on the subpixel thing, and then Ren'Py will shrink them instead of like whatever editing program you're using. And Ren'Py is pretty good about resizing stuff.
I recently heard that Cirque is sick, and for now they aren't working on anything. I don't know what the severity of their condition is, but I still plan on asking them if they can make versions of the sprites that fit the original dimensions and have the white outlines. If you think they'd look better without the outlines, I could ask them to remake the Natsuki chibis without the outlines. Instead, credit both artists for them. In any case, I still need them to make the Siri, Yuri, and Monica chibis fit the dimensions of the original game.
I think they would look better with the white outlines, and that's actually not too difficult to do. So, yeah, just hit up, like, any artist, really. I'm sure they can handle it.
You might have also noticed that not all of the music loops perfectly.
I didn't notice, but I might have not dwelled on any song long enough for that to happen.
Maybe I heard a small stutter before the music looped. The music looped in a place that doesn't sound exactly right. This is because none of the new music came with looping points defined, so I had to make them by scratch. This was a long process of typing in a loop point, booting up the game, listening to the whole song to make sure it sounded good, and repeating this process if it didn't. I'm not going to ask you or anyone else to pinpoint the exact looping points for me, but I'd still appreciate it if you wanted to do that.
Something that might be able to help you with that is this handy little free program called Audacity. If you open up the songs in that, you can zoom it in super close and see like the exact point at which you want to loop to. And I think you only need like the first 3 decimal digits for Ren'Py. At least I'm pretty sure that's how it is for like the regular songs. So if you can open the song in Audacity and find where you want it to loop to, like I said, you can just zoom in and get the number right from there.
Regarding the stories from Day 3, all of them except your for Yuri's story were to Manga After Story. I don't know whether the creator of Mass wrote them or not, so I'll attempt to find them and ask about it. If they're not allowed for use, I'll always replace them. Your story is just the contents of her character file. We're not sure who wrote that one.
It was Dan.
But when I find out who, I will ask them about using it in my mod. Finding out Dan's use of it in the original game if they weren't already aware. I don't know what I'll do if they refuse to let me use the story, though since the plot of Day 3 kind of depends on it being there. But hopefully they should be okay with it, since it would basically just be reused as part of the original game.
You can rest assured, there's no way you wouldn't be allowed to use it.
The font used for this blast message part of the logo and the save and load screens is a font made by Asselt Corporation, included on Windows computers by default named Chiller. Because of this, I am assuming it's allowed for use in the mod with credit. Well, I'm not really sure how I'd go about finding them to ask about it, so I'm going to hope it's fine. The small script showing the save dates under each save file seems to keep changing size for some reason, but that shouldn't be too concerning. It's not like anyone bothers to read that anyway. Some of these assets were made by myself as well. Shades for the Cold Room windows, the default Splash logo, changes to GUI, just a few of them. Then finally, Wahanika made the blank version of the Clear All Room, and the font used is Grunge Shrift Light by Christian Earth. And that should be everything I need to cover. Please do let me know if I missed anything, or if you have any questions that I didn't cover. Thanks for testing out Doki Doki Halloween Club. We hope you come back to play it again when the full release comes out.
Well, end of beta. That was pretty good, not gonna lie. Had some very interesting moments. Oh god, it just closed itself. I'm still recording though, so now it's just my voice in the void. Well, Emmy told me that she didn't want this posted yet, and I'll ask her if she's okay with me posting it. But I won't do it otherwise. She's gonna get to see this before anyone else does. But however she feels about it, I will share the rest of my feelings. Probably in direct contact through Reddit or something. So that's it for this series. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time with more of whatever the heck I play. See ya!